Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. Today, we got the NFL Week 3 predictions, guys. The NFL Week 3 predictions are here. 3 weeks into the NFL already. Kind of crazy. Bunch of things happened. Yeah, a bunch of things happened. So, yeah, before we talk about those bunch of things happening, we're just gonna get straight into this with the Thursday night football game, which, however, is going to be the Dolphins at the Bills. The Dolphins, well, Tua was missing a bunch of passes, and they almost beat the Patriots, but fell short again. And yeah, it honestly, it's really time for the Dolphins just to rebuild. I mean, the Dolphins, I thought they would be something a couple years ago, but they just been a disappointment every single year. Whether it's Tua getting hurt, whether it's just the whole team not playing up the standards, and yeah, they just don't even look like competition anymore. They couldn't even beat the Patriots, and I don't get me wrong, Patriots ain't a bad team, but come on, if there was a team that the Dolphins could have beat, it could have been the Patriots, and they couldn't. And the Dolphins, well, starting 0-2, going into Buffalo. Which the Bills, yeah, they handled Tyrod Taylor and the Jets. They didn't have to do much, and because of that, they had no offense. But the Bills, they look hungry this season. Give me the Bills for this game. I mean, this is pretty simple for Thursday Night Football. Yeah, just give me the Bills. We'll go 27-16 here. Maybe the Dolphins could score a little bit of points, but other than that, I don't think the Bills the Dolphins are a big threat in the NFL anymore. So there's that. So give me the Bills, and yeah. Next game, you got the Packers at the Browns. The Packers. Well, yeah, they beat the Commanders, which also hurt Jaden Daniels, which is yikes. Not too good for them, but the Packers, they do look like they're going to be unstoppable this year. Matthew Golden isn't even playing that good, and they're still looking unstoppable. And Micah Parsons, man, how about Micah Parsons? Just chasing after Jaden Daniels, making him run for his life. And yeah, the Packers, yeah, they're good. Meanwhile, the Browns, well, hey, the Browns got destroyed by the Ravens, as expected. And yeah, the Browns, hey, Devin Gabriel, it looked pretty solid. He went 3 for 321 and a touchdown, but other than that, yeah, the Browns, yeah, the Packers are gonna win this football game, guys. So give me the Packers here. I'm gonna take the Packers 34-14. The Browns are getting ready to get annihilated once again, and yeah, sorry Cleveland, sorry not sorry. Next game you got the Colts at the Titans. The Colts. The Colts. Well, Daniel Jones is looking really good for the Colts, and they just knocked off the Broncos, which Colts honestly should have lost that game, but since the Broncos, had to give them leverage, yeah, the Colts had an extra kick, and boom, they won the game. And Daniel Jones, how about Jonathan Taylor, though, too? Man, that Colts offense is looking really sharp this year. And if Daniel Jones could keep doing this, maybe the Colts could make a playoff run. Didn't think I'd say that, but wow, the Colts have really proved me wrong in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. I think I had them going like 6-11. Wow. Good for you, Colts. But the Titans, on the other hand, yeah, they lost to the Rams. Cam Ward does look really good, but the rest of the offense, they have no other playmakers, and it's just sad. Their defense isn't that good. The offensive line is and yeah, the Titans, yep, just tank for another season, get yourself a wide receiver, and improve the offensive line more, and maybe they'll be good. But yeah, the Titans, unfortunately, they're not that good. But I was going to. This is honestly a coin flip for me, because I think the Colts are due for an upset, and I also think the Titans could go just 0-3 here. So I actually was going to give it to the Titans, but I'm going to switch my prediction and I'm going to switch it back to the Colts. I'm taking the Colts here. I was going to take the Titans as an upset, but I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to get the job done. I got it as a low-scoring game, 20-13. I think the Titans do something this week, but make it a low-scoring game because, well, they have no offense. But I think the Titans come close to winning, but they don't. So I'll give the Colts here 20-17 against the Tennessee Titans. Originally was going to take the Titans with the same score, but I have the Colts winning, so change my answer. Next game, you got Steelers at Patriots. The Steelers. Well, I predicted the Seahawks beating them, and my prediction went right. The Steelers falling very, 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 very short against Seahawks. They had a good first half, but then the second half, they looked terrible. They looked absolutely terrible. The Steelers, like I said, their offense, again, it's not that good. It's going to get exposed. And Aaron Rodgers threw 2 interceptions. Their run game is not that good. And, yeah. And their leading receiver was Jaylen Warren with 86 yards, 4 receptions. Even though that's pretty good, but that never happened. So, yeah. And even the Seahawks, they threw 2 interceptions and still beat them by 14. Like I said, man, the Steelers, they're frauds. Like I said, don't trust them. Next, you got the Patriots. The Patriots. Well, Drake May looking really sharp in that offense. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the win in Week 1 against the Raiders. They looked sharp in the first 2 weeks, but they're still 1-1. You know, like I said, I had a lot of faith for the Patriots this year, and this is honestly an interesting football game. You got the Steelers and you got the Patriots. Well, that's basically the battle of the Super Bowls. But I am debating this game, and I was going to take the Patriots, but something's telling me I'm going to take the Steelers here in a lower scoring game. I feel like the Steelers are defensively better than the Patriots. Even though I said the Steelers are frauds, I do think they'll slip in a win right here just because I think their defense is a little bit better. I think their defense is going to give Drake May a ton of problems. I do think it's going to be close, though. Might see some turnovers in this game. But I am going to go with the Steelers 23-21 against the Patriots. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots do end up winning this game. This is just a prediction of whether I think the Steelers defense is going to get a ton of sacks against Drake May and get after him a lot, maybe get some turnovers. But I do have the Steelers winning. Nothing less. Oh boy. Next, you got the Bengals at the Vikings. The Bengals. God damn it. The Bengals. Joe Burrow got hurt once again. This time he got toe turf. This team is a living hell. It literally is. This team went 2-0. And let's just talk about the game before we get into all of that. Burrow, he looked solid before he got freaking hurt. And then Jake Browning came in, threw 3 interceptions, came back, and still won the game for the Bengals. Jamar Chase, he looks like he's going to have a monster season. Even though Burrow did get hurt, I do think it's not all over. They did say that he's going to come back late. Very late in the NFL season. Likely week 15, potentially week 14, I would guess. Maybe later. Maybe week 16, either one of those 3. But he's coming back around that time. And hopefully the Bengals have a good enough record by then. We'll see. We are 2-0 to start the season. So that is best case scenario. But I swear, this team, man, why can't nothing go good in Cincinnati? We're 2-0 and Burrow had to get hurt because our offensive line is absolutely terrible. And the fact that the offensive line looked better when Jake Browning came in. it's crazy, but Jake Browning, he did have a lot of interceptions, but I'm assuming Cincinnati is gonna roll with him for the rest of the season because he has been behind Burrow for a while, and I honestly don't mind that if they do, because Kirk Cousins, I don't want Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr or anybody out there that's trying to come out of retirement or needs to go in retirement, and everybody's trash, and I trust Drake Browning more than Kirk Cousins, so there's that. But yeah, the Bengals, they are 2-0. Offense looks great, but after, or at least after the Cleveland Browns game. But yeah, a lot of things are gonna have to go right for the Bengals now going forward if we're gonna make a run. Defense doesn't look too terrible though, as they keep getting turnovers. Like I said, this defense is made of turnovers. They just get a whole bunch of turnovers. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy is actually hurt right now, so he's going to be out after they had a terrible week. J.J. McCarthy did not look good last week, so maybe it was just the Bears. Hopefully, because, well, he came from Michigan, so can't support anybody that comes from Michigan because I'm Ohio Buckeyes fan. But, you know. But yeah, J.J. McCarthy didn't look too good last week. Justin Jefferson, he's going to have a big game. It's going to be Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning. I didn't think this was going to happen. But regarding this game, and besides all the Burrow injuries, hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he comes back in Week 14. That's best case scenario. I'm going to go with the Bengals still here. Carson Wentz is terrible, and I think Aaron Jones is also hurt, so that gives us a better boost at the run game, even though Jordan Mason is also solid, but our defense has actually played pretty well. And Jake Browning, he is a system quarterback, so I don't mind him being at quarterback. And honestly, low-key, Jake Browning and Jamar Chase both have kind of a weird connection, so maybe that will get going against the Vikings. So I am going to take the Bengals here 27-19. I think it will be some sort of a close game. I think Carson Wentz, I don't know. Carson Wentz, I don't think he does a lot of turnovers, but I do think he'll play okay, but not good enough. So I do think the Bengals somehow go 3-0 after losing Burrow. And yeah, oh man, I can't believe that happened again. I didn't think it was this year. I thought maybe he'll get hurt this year for maybe he'll leave the game and then come back in, or he'll leave for one game, but the whole season almost once again is crazy. Prayers to Burrow, but yep, that's it for that prediction. Next up, you got the Rams at the Eagles. What a game you have here. The Rams, well, their offense looked great. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams both having another good game. And listen, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, two really good wide receivers. Really good wide receivers. I almost slept on Devontae Adams for a little bit, but looks like he's really solid under Matthew Stafford. And Stafford having a great game last week. And the Rams, they look like they're pushing for a run. Meanwhile, last year in the divisional round, these two went head-to-head. And Saquon Barkley ran over the Rams twice that year. And they're taking on the Eagles once again with Jalen Hurts and them knocking off the Kansas City Chiefs, doing absolutely nothing because Jalen Hurts had disgusting stats. I don't know why I said pity, but yeah, Eagles had disgusting stats all over the place with Jalen Hurts, and yeah, Saquon Barkley had a decent game last week, but other than that, the Eagles, their defense just got it done. They beat Mahomes once again, and they made the Chiefs go 0-2. So, no shaking it off there, Chiefs. But yeah, guys, this is a really good game, though, honestly. And honestly, I was so close to taking the Rams here just because of how the Eagles performed last week against the Chiefs. Because let's be honest, the Eagles, they could be looking better right now. But I feel like this is a week for Jalen Hurts. So I am going to take the Eagles here to knock off the Rams. I just like the Eagles' defense more. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. And I think the Eagles come out and slip in the last second field goal or something. And I got the Eagles winning 31-28 against the Rams. I think it's going to be a fun game. Wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win this game, but I am going to take the Eagles because they are the better overall and built team. Which, honestly, it really isn't that big of a difference, but still. I'm going to take the Eagles here. Next up, you got the Jets at the Buccaneers. The Jets. Well, they lost Justin Fields, and Tyrod Taylor isn't any better, so yeah. The Jets, not really much to talk about there because they are just in general cooked. The Buccaneers, on the other hand, well, Baker Mayfield looks really great, and they're 2-0, knocking off the Houston Texans. Emeka Egbuka, man, how about this dude from Ohio, man? Literally, like, every receiver that comes out of Ohio is great and amazing. And Emeka Egbuka is definitely one of them. As I think he's, like, the leading receiver on Tampa Bay. I didn't expect him to be this great in his rookie season. In fact, early in the rookie season. This is crazy from Emeka Egbuka, what he's doing. And Baker Mayfield is also putting together. Bucky Irving also had a nice week last week. And, yeah. Mike Evans getting his catches. And, yeah, man. The Buccaneers, still no Chris Godwin. No big deal. You got Emeka Egbuka. And they're playing the Jets. So, give me Tampa Bay here. Easily and destroying the crap out of the Jets. 38-11. I feel like the Buccaneers are just going to have a grand slam against the Jets. Next game, you have the Raiders at the Commanders. The Raiders. Well, Genty is looking like a bust, but it is early in the season, so we'll see. We ain't gonna sleep on that boy yet. 'Cause I know he has it in him, but he's just been quiet. Geno Smith. Well, there you go. Geno Smith, 3 interceptions. Still somehow kind of a close game. They scored 9 points, and they only lost by 11. So, yeah, the Raiders. I mean, they're the Raiders taking on the Commanders, which I think are going to be out without Jaden Daniels. So this is going to be interesting since I think he got his knee sprain, or I don't know what happened. I can't remember. I think he's just out for this week. Marcus Mariota is going to be taking over, and yeah, can't believe that dude's still in the league. But yeah, the Commanders, this is an interesting game here, just because Jaden Daniels is out. So I am actually still going to take the Commanders here. Maybe a little bit closer game. I'm going to take the Commanders 24-14. Because I do think the Commanders still can win with Marcus Mariota. He hasn't looked bad when he was on the Commanders, when he did play for that short amount of time last year. But hopefully Jaden Daniels does get better. But I do have the Commanders still pulling off the win against the Raiders. Even though, yeah, he's hurt. But Raiders, this is your chance to take full responsibility here and get a W. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm yawning and stuff. I'm just really tired. I haven't slept. It's 7 in the morning right now, recording this. So, yeah, that's great. But next, we got the Falcons at the Panthers. The Falcons, well, they won an ugly battle against the Vikings, which, yeah, that game was just hideous and ugly all around. The Falcons still got the win. Taking on the Panthers, which, well, they kind of competed with the Cardinals, but they had to get a last-second touchdown. So, the Panthers, they're just, I guess the Panthers are still just not that great, man. I really had some high hopes with the Panthers this year, but I guess it's just time to move on for Bryce Young this year. We'll see if Bryce Young has it in him still. If he takes the Panthers to like 6 wins this year after going 0-2, then maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the standards are set for him in Carolina, but they're really high right now, and he needs to exceed the simple ones before he can get to the big ones. And right now, he's not even exceeding the simple ones. So in that case, I am going to take Atlanta here. Atlanta's better built around Carolina, so they have the better team here. So I'm going to take Atlanta 26-17. I think the Falcons will get the W here. And next game, you got the Texans at the Jaguars. The Texans, as we were just saying, they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're really struggling to get in that end zone. They really are. And the Texans, you know, I don't know. The Texans, they just got to do something. Something's got to shake up here. Nico Collins did have a touchdown, but yeah, the Texans, they got to do something. They got to do something. They're 0-2. It's time to get everything kicked in high gear for them. Taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, which Trevor Lawrence almost beat the Bengals, and then he saw Jake Browning coming in the game, and yeah. Also, speaking of that, Jake Browning owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. Literally. Because, yeah. That's crazy. And they still lost to the Bengals even when Joe Burrow got hurt and Trevor Lawrence threw turnovers. Travis Hunter got a whole bunch of penalties. Brian Thomas Jr. The whole team sold in that game, and they had so many opportunities to beat us, and they didn't. So therefore, I am going to take Houston to get their first win here. I don't think Jacksonville knocks them off here. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, just because the Texans are having a very, very rough time getting in the end zone. But I think the pass rush of the Texans is going to be a little bit too much for Jacksonville. And I think that Texans are going to get back in shape here real soon. So I don't expect Texans being a complete bust here. So Texans, giving them the win 30-16. I think their offense gets back on a roller coaster. So, yeah. Maybe Nick Chubb has a big game. But who knows? But I got the Texans here 30-16. Next game, you got the Broncos at the Chargers. The Broncos, wow, they should have won that game. But, well, leverage. Yeah, the Broncos should be honestly 0-2. And the Broncos as well, it's so weird. Troy Franklin looks like he's having big games now. I don't even know. Their offense is honestly still like wish-washy for me, because it's like I can see their offense be bad and I can also see their offense be good. So I don't know. The Broncos are kind of in the middle of the team for me this year, since Bo Nix is kind of looking like he's having a sophomore slump. But I don't know. I don't know really. But the Broncos are taking on the Chargers here, so this is an interesting game to me. And the Chargers, Keenan Allen has looked great. Quentin Johnston, what he's put in preseason, he has put in hard work this season. And it's been paying off. Back-to-back big games, and just has been great as a receiver so far. And this is a tough prediction because I like the Broncos defense too. So, right in this game, I'm actually going to side. And I'm doing this for an upset. But I have the Broncos knocking off the Chargers 20-17 in overtime. This is my first overtime prediction. So, I think the Broncos, I think both these teams could take it both into overtime. Maybe low scoring game. I like both defenses on these teams. And, yeah, I just don't know. I feel like the Broncos are going to slip out a win against the Chargers to balance the AFC North, or AFC West, my bad. So, I don't know. I think the Broncos do somehow slip out a win. Not giving up on the Broncos just yet, but I do think they slip out a win. Next game, you got the Saints at the Seahawks. The Saints, well, they got destroyed by Mac Jones. Well, they didn't get destroyed, but they lost to Mac Jones. And a lot of these people out here saying, oh, well, the Saints are showing fight. Yeah, they're really not. It was Mac Jones. They should have won that game. And they should have beat the Cardinals, too, honestly. Well, they shouldn't have, but they could have. But they couldn't. So, yeah, they're playing the Seahawks, though, which the Seahawks did knock off the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Sam Darnold, I don't know, he's been looking okay, I guess. He did throw 2 interceptions last week, and yeah, the Seahawks, like I said, the Seahawks are just a weird team for me. So, I really don't know where the Seahawks are going, but they're not going to the playoffs. That's all I know with Sam Darnold. That's why I've been like, I don't know about Sam Darnold, man. Maybe I think Sam Darnold's honestly decent now, but I don't think that decency is going to be enough for playoffs. So, but I am going to take the Seahawks here. It is the Saints. Not going to get too ahead of myself. So I'm going to take the Seahawks here 33-10. And yeah. Next game, you got the Cowboys at the Bears. The Cowboys, holy frick. They had a shootout with the goddamn Giants, and they won in overtime because of Brandon Aubrey. And Dak Prescott had a great game. CeeDee Lamb had a great game. George Pickens even had a great game. And yeah, except that defense. And yeah, Jerry Jones was really happy after that win. But it was against the Giants, so does it really deserve happiness? While the Bears, well, they got destroyed by the Lions, and that was expected. So yeah, the Chicago Bears, they haven't looked any better. Cowboys, this is just a poop fest. This game's a poop fest. So I am gonna take the Cowboys here to beat the Bears. I just don't know about the Bears anymore. I do think it's gonna be a close game. Interestingly enough, I'm gonna give the Cowboys here the edge, 21-17. I was honestly gonna take the Bears, even though I just made jokes about them, just because I do think they are kind of due for a win at least. But yeah, man, the Cowboys, they got this one bagged. If last week's defense doesn't show up, you want to leave last week's defense in Dallas. You need a whole new defense in Chicago, because that was crazy. 37-40 is insane. But yeah, Cowboys win 21-17. Next game, you got the Cardinals at the 49ers. The Cardinals, well, they beat the Panthers, and yeah, Kyler Murray looks good. So does James Conner. Trey McBride's having big games and stuff, and yeah, the Cardinals, they're not really having to do much as they have an easy schedule anyways. Well, have had an easy schedule so far earlier in the season. My bad. But yeah. Meanwhile, the 49ers, well, I don't know what's going on with them. I think Mac Jones is starting this week as well. Not too sure, but yeah, Mac Jones did look great last week. Christian McCaffrey getting hecka involved, but he's just not looked like himself. And yeah, that's just unfortunate. But I am actually going to take the Cardinals as an upset. It's not really an upset, honestly, because like these two teams are kind of balanced to me. But I don't know about the 49ers problems right now. They're just too much, and I trust the Cardinals a little bit more than the 49ers somehow. I don't think I've ever said that for a long time, but yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals here as an upset, even though it's not kind of an upset, but I'm going to take the Cardinals 31-19 here. Maybe the 49ers will score points, but I really don't know who's at quarterback for the 49ers, so oh well. Next game, you got the Chiefs at the Giants. Well, 2 0-2 teams going at it. The Chiefs, yeah, that offense has just not been kicking it. Losing Rashee Rice, losing Xavier Worthy, which I don't know when he's coming back either. And yeah, the Chiefs offense just has not looked great at all. Travis Kelce's washed. He needs to retire after this season. And yeah. Meanwhile, the Giants, Russell Wilson is the leading pass leader in the NFL right now after he threw for 450, 3 touchdowns, and a stupid interception in overtime, which the Giants could have won that game. Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors going crazy against Dallas's defense. And Russell Wilson throwing up some pretty moon balls. But yeah. But we got Russ and Patrick Mahomes in New York. And this could be interesting. If Russ shows up like he did last week, the Chiefs are having competition to avoid 0-3. But the Chiefs, they have to get their offense together this week, or they are losing. Because the Giants, they're probably not going to mess around here. They're definitely going to want to beat Kansas City. So yeah. But I am going to take Kansas City here. yeah, I just think Kansas City's going to win this game. It's probably going to be a lower scoring game, so I'm going to take Kansas City 27-13. I do think they bounce back here from last week. But I wouldn't be surprised the Giants win. I wouldn't be if Russell Wilson from last week shows up. But that's just how good Wandale and Blake Neighbors are, so who knows, man. And for the last game, you got on Monday Night Football, you got Lions at Ravens, which is potentially game of the freaking week. Lions at the Ravens. Oh, man. The Lions absolutely clapping the Bears' cheeks. Pause. The Lions, yeah, Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, we expected it. We expected what... Yeah, I kind of really did expect Detroit to do that to the Bears. Not really dropping 50 on them, but... Yeah, the Bears... They didn't have to do that to the Bears. And the Ravens, on the other hand, they destroyed the Browns, which... Yeah, the Browns... Not too impressive. Derrick Henry, though, he didn't get really anything going against the Browns, which is kind of concerning. But we'll see how this game goes. Now, for this game, oh man, this game is just game of the year. This could be game of the year right here, or game of the week. Or, well, it is probably game of the week, but this is looking like game of the year. And this game's going to come down to the wire. And right now, I'm actually going to go with the Detroit Lions to knock off Baltimore. Just because Derrick Henry didn't get anything going last week, maybe Detroit does something fancy like that this week. I think they can reduce what Lamar does and Derrick Henry. That's the key to the game. Detroit has that defense. They're coming for Baltimore. And their offense had a really great last week. So I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to get the W, 41-34. And that is the end of this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Hit that bell to not miss any one of my videos. Make sure all notifications are on. And let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys think about these predictions. Who do you guys think is going to win in Week 3 of the NFL season? 2025 to 2026. And yeah, it's the end of this video, guys. So yeah, make sure y'all like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And peace out.